Welcome back, everyone, to 1 Minute Recess. Hope you're having a great week. It's been a lot over the past 5 to 7 days since we recorded last, so let's get right into it. Maria, you want to introduce yourself?
Yeah. Hi, everyone. I'm your co-host through this wild ride, Maria Teresa, and boy, it's been quite the week. The week last week and the beginning of this week. So you ready to go through the BS and ask what the fuck with us?
Yeah, I never know if I'm really ready, but let's go.
Let's just dive in. Why not? What's the worst that could happen?
I don't even want to ask that question.
Yeah.
Okay. All right, so let's go down the rundown. Apparently, we triggered some MAGA bots.
Yeah. We have some folks that somehow
Welcome, MAGA trolls. Welcome.
found us on the internet. And
Good.
I haven't read through all of because there's quite a bit of.
Oh, I bet. I mean, we were pretty harsh on their dear leader last week, so. Are they bots or are they real? Or is it like 50-50?
We should also play, is it a bot? Okay? Because some of these, good question, because I'm seeing lots of numbers at the end of their names. All right. These are the comments for our $8 gas in LA MAGA video on YouTube. Gary Foxley, 3109.
Welcome, Gary.
Welcome, Gary. Just drove through New Mexico 2 days ago. A different state, by the way, than the one we were talking about in that video. But he says, just drove through New Mexico 2 days ago, $3.49 to $3.22. Gary, I'm going to need you to drop that gas station pin location to see if it's real.
California's here. Then Nevada, then Arizona and Utah, then New Mexico.
Yeah.
Just saying.
And New Mexico, pray tell, Annette, is close to what state that has
Texas.
Access to gas? Oh, so it's closer.
Close to the Gulf of Mexico where they have oil reserves.
And we were talking about what state? California, which is further and probably gets a lot of gas from the place where there are bombs right now.
You know, listen, Maria, I don't want to make sense here, but Gary, we were talking about California and Nevada, not our dear friends in New Mexico. And of course, gas prices are going to be different state to state based on geographic location, based on lots of different factors. That's why dear leader talked in his State of the Union address about gas being $2 a gallon in Iowa or some shit. We've never seen that in Nevada. That's not a real thing.
Ever.
Not a real thing in Iowa either. But anyways.
Oh my God. This one's great. Ryan Halpin 2192 is a petrodollar genius in it. Okay.
Can't wait. Is this like Rocks and Mud from a few weeks back?
Oh yeah. It's an I state that he mentions here. 39 in Indiana. You need to talk to your governor. LOL. Like the governor has anything to do with gas prices.
Yeah, and that's listen, Joe Lombardo ain't my favorite. That's our governor friend of Nevada.
Who's a what party is he?
Republican.
He's a Republican?
Trump-loving Republican friends in Indiana.
Yeah, we were talking about California. We're not in California, friend.
We're also talking about Nevada. Not in Indiana. Anyways, we have a MAGA-loving, Trump-loving governor who's running for re-election. I don't think he wants the gas prices high, but I also don't know that that's under the purview of the governor of the state of Nevada or any state, right?
What?
Yeah.
And don't you think, Ryan, I just need you to sit with me, Ryan, okay?
Let's go down this rabbit hole together.
Sit with me, Ryan. I'm going to put myself in your shoes and say, okay, need to talk to my governor. Let's say we were in California and Gavin Newsom was our governor. Don't you think if it was up to the governor that like every governor would just magically wave that governor wand and say $2 gas for all?
There are many things that fall under the purview of the state government, and that would include your governor, right? So state legislature, governor. Unfortunately, my dear friend, in any state in the United States, gas prices isn't really one of them. You can
Mhm.
fix a lot of things. Politicians can run on a lot of things. In fact, Joe Lombardo ran last time criticizing Steve Sisolak on prices, including gas prices.
Mhm.
However, you can work on things like the price of eggs when there's an egg shortage. You can work on policies that will help bring supply and demand, things like that. But unfortunately, gas prices are not one of those things. Thanks for
Yeah.
commenting.
Thanks,
Thanks,
Ryan.
thanks for playing.
Yeah. Now, ready to play geography again? At no flip flops 9974. Lots of y'all are adding.
Lot of numbers.
A lot of numbers. What is this? Like an AOL chat room in
What is this?
1999?
Russian bots? Is that why we don't know where New Mexico is in relation to fucking
Yeah.
California?
Wrong oblast, my friend. Wrong oblast. No flip flop says gas is cheap, cheap, CHEEP, here in Alberta. Friend, that's Canada.
Why
Who
even in
also
the
has
same
a lot of
country?
gasoline.
We're not even in the same fucking country now. Hey, listen, I'd love to be in Canada. You want to take me? I'm talking about, sadly, the United States of America, where
Yeah.
Donald Trump is president and we started a war with Iran. Canada didn't do that.
No, Canada's.
So, Alberta, I am glad. No flip-flops. I am glad your gas is cheap.
We are
You
so
live in
happy
a
for
sane,
you.
you live in a
Yeah.
sane country.
Yeah. Yeah. Please enjoy that for us, Alberta and everyone.
What's that like?
Yeah. Now we're gonna need to play like Time Machine, I think, because this person certainly did. At double hyphen A83 says, was this under Biden? Haha, laughing face emoji.
Oh,
It was literally last fucking week.
This is in the good Lord's year of 2026, where Donald Trump is your president.
Double A83. Have you been to a hospital and asked what year it is, and do you know who the president is? Because I think you need to get that checked. Because that was last week, and Biden hasn't been president.
I watched a Trumper the other day on social media, and he was like crying. And he was like, I voted for Donald Trump because he was going to bring down prices. And then he didn't. And now gas is out of control and my grocery prices are higher. And I just
Oh.
wish I would have voted for Papa Biden because things were so much more calm under him. And I'm like, stop now. Stop crying.
I would hold your hand and say I understand, but we tried to tell you that for like a whole year and a half.
Multiple times, because we voted for Donald Trump multiple times. Well, I didn't vote. These other idiots did.
Yeah. So thanks, Double. On the issue of voter IDs, Jesus, this name. Not the Alberto Martinez part, the after Alberto. Martinez hyphen KG 9RJ.
Okay, stands for Kremlin.
Kremlin, good Russian, 9 Russian
Bot.
Junior says this is a real insight into why we need voter ID, apparently. You need an ID.
Apparently a Latino person.
Yeah.
Tell me why, Latino person.
I am Latino from the Nevada Oblast. You need an ID to visit a hospital.
Yes.
Courthouse, DMV, to buy alcohol and tobacco, to get medicine, to drive a car. So what is the problem with voting ID?
You also need an ID or some sort of identification like a social security number to register to vote, friends.
Weird. It's like that's the first step.
Already required in there. It's the first step of registering to vote. So you don't need to do it again because it's essentially a poll tax. So you can either have your social security number or a valid ID. That's how they prove your citizenship. That's how they prove where you live. That's how they prove that you're voting in the right location, in the right state, and that you're eligible to vote in the state of Nevada or whatever state you're voting in. You literally put that information on the voter registration form when you turn it in, either your social number or your driver's license number. And then they go back and they match all the records up and make sure you are who you say you are and make sure your signature matches.
Weird.
On the voter registration form, and when you go vote, they make sure your signature matches. That is more than enough identification at the start. So people needing to bring a driver's license or other form of ID is redundant and not necessary because our election system is already the most safe and secure in the country. Showing up, say you don't have a driver's license, because a lot of people don't, but they have a social security number. Your social security number card does not count as a form of ID, friends.
Mm-mm.
So I can put my social security number down, but not have a driver's license and still vote. That's why it matters, friends.
Yep.
Not everybody
Exactly.
has an ID.
Yeah. Wow. And it seems like you're saying that the proponents of this are ignoring the fact that verification and identification is already part of the process. It's the very beginning.
The scare tactic to make you think willy-nilly people are out just voting willy-nilly, no checks, no balances, just
Wild. You think we're done, but we're not. Annette, there's a lot more. 3:30 in Kansas City. Maybe blame Gavin Newsom for the extra $5 a gallon in taxes. You're not. No. Corey Hart 55.92.
Friend, we're not based in California. I was using California as an example. Gas is also going up in Nevada. So, fun fact, gas has also gone up over 30 cents in Nevada. We're based in Nevada. It's not just a California problem. Bet it's gone up in Kansas too, friend.
See, actually, you know what, Annette? You want to do an exercise in Kansas City today, and you can hear me typing, friend, Corey Hart. I assume you mean Kansas City, Missouri.
Google.
Mm-hmm.
As of March 16th, 2026, which is the day we are recording, U.S. gas prices have surged to their highest levels since October 2023, averaging $3.72 per gallon for regular unleaded gas. A significant increase due to ongoing tensions in the Middle East. Prices have risen sharply over the past month, with regional averages heavily impacted, particularly in western states, which happens to be where we live. For highest prices in the country are California. Other states with high costs are Washington and Nevada, which are seeing prices over $4.30 to $4.50 per gallon. And let me remind you all who are not from Nevada. We are based in Nevada, and our governor is a Republican, MAGA-loving Trumper. So it's not like, you're going to sit here and say, California is so high tax. Okay, fine. Then what's the excuse for Nevada? Because we're the 5th lowest tax state in the country. I'll wait.
Hold while they translate that from Russian.
It's almost like it's a regional problem, hence why western states are feeling the brunt of this.
Is that how economics works? And Annette, do the boats from do they come this way?
Hey, the Strait, Donald Trump today literally said he is calling on our NATO allies and China to help him, work with him to reopen the Strait. Why would anybody do that when we have been nothing but assholes to our allies and to China?
Yeah, exactly.
I wouldn't work with Donald Trump, would you?
No.
No, thank you, sir. You started this war. You can use the high gas prices, sir.
Exactly. There's a lot of y'all have lots of opinions on gas prices.
The fact of the matter is it's higher. And your president started a war, and it's higher because of that.
According to Cadillac Inc.
Oh, well, Cadillac.
Gas was $7.50 a gallon the week before the war started, and now it's lower.
That's new information.
And it's the politicians in California. You know what's interesting? All of y'all are saying the same shit. It's the state politicians. Is there a Google Doc that went around?
Like the Kremlin sent their talking points to the trolls.
Yeah.
I want y'all to go back to Government 101 in high school. Just Google it even. And see who controls gas prices. Because I literally just Googled gas prices today across the United States. That's it. No opinions. No slights toward one person or another. And literally it says here, the words that are on my screen, verbatim, a significant increase due to ongoing tensions in the Middle East, aka the war in Iran that the United States started.
Mm-hmm.
That's not an opinion, friends. That's a fact. Those two things are different.
Yep. Also, there were lots of other comments. I really do think that it was a concerted effort by a little cubicle section in the Kremlin, which is adorable. Because we got a few people saying The Delusional Show is our new name.
Ooh,
TDS.
Fun.
The Delusional Show. I actually appreciate that because I would love to be delusional in these times.
I'd like a lobotomy at this point.
Yeah, it would be great. So thank you for the idea. But we actually had a little fight in the comments with people.
Ooh,
Yeah.
drama.
Todd Adams, 6533, started it. President Trump is the greatest president of all time. Capital
Okay.
G on greatest. Just say thank you, sit down, and shut the fuck up. It will
No.
be all right very soon.
No, thank you. No, thank you, sir. That's not
And
how we
then
roll.
Steve Hall 4771 came in and dunked on him and said, you would have done quite well in Germany circa 1933. Next time I suggest knowing before speaking. And then some David Henriksen 4368 said, blah, 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 everyone is a Nazi, didn't spell Nazi correctly. Your TDS delusion is showing. Trump derangement syndrome is showing. Go get some help. Wow. There was quite a fight here. There's a lot more. But
I'm not
Steve
going over
Hall
it.
holding it down.
Steve Hall, good job, my friend. And here's the deal. It's not Trump derangement syndrome. It's called being educated and reading.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
That's all it is.
Yep, exactly. So that was YouTube, Annette. I mean, there were a lot more. And we'll say hi in the chat. If we missed you, we'll say hi in the chat. But
spot for the algorithm boost.
Thank you. Keep distributing the show so that more people...
Keep sharing, keep liking.
We appreciate it.
Even when it's bad, I love being called delusional because
I love it.
I know for a fact I'm not.
We also got told that maybe we should start walking everywhere because we could use it.
Of course we get the fat comment. That's my favorite comment.
Mm-hmm.
I can fix fat, friends. You can't fix stupid.
Exactly. Yeah. Yeah. And I do walk everywhere. I used to, before I had a car.
In this morning.
Yeah. For 10 years of my life as an adult, I walked. I'm going to sound like someone who said, I walked 50 miles uphill both ways. But I walked 30 minutes each way to the Boulevard Mall to go to work because no car.
I really don't give a fuck what any of these keyboard warriors think. If you want to start a fucking show and a podcast, go ahead, keyboard warriors who live in your mother's basement in Russia. Please join us. When you're educated and you know how to talk about these issues, I welcome you. Come on. I'll welcome you on the show, in fact.
You know, exactly. I was going to say, let us know what email to send an invite to the show on. You know, we invite fans because we have Steve Sibelius on. So Big Ball 6969, if you're still out there, you know, or Todd Adams 6369, whatever the digits were. Let us know. We'll even put it in the chat. Let us know when you want to come on the show.
I'd love to debate one of these motherfuckers.
Seriously.
We've done it before. We used to debate with people for a living.
On live television. So to TikTok, where the sanity was, lots of people, and also Instagram, lots of people enjoyed your fever dream comment, Annette, and are realizing the same thing.
It's real.
But also someone, also on gas prices, Jesus. We're never going to get out of the gas section.
Gas prices would trigger people so much. Is it because Donald Trump is so wrong on this and you've got to like daddy's got to be protected at all costs? Like, what's the deal here?
You know, when you just when
you're just so wrong, you got to argue
you dig
about
in
it?
Just to not admit you're wrong. Yeah.
It's a fucking strange thing to argue about. No. I love paying more at the gas pump because daddy started a war that didn't need to be started. Fucking strange.
Well, Blue 5356 says for 4 years I heard gas prices were affected by presidents. I think you meant to say weren't, like a burn, like, oh, I thought, you know. Look, Blue, this is what people were talking about. That as long as a president doesn't bomb a place where we get gas from, they actually don't have a lot to do with gas prices. It's mostly the market and OPEC that do it. But no one ever thought that a president would just, basically destroy the Strait of Hormuz access.
Yeah, that's where this is coming from. That's why people are blaming Donald Trump.
So in normal times,
manipulating gas prices, it's that he literally blew up the place where our gas comes from.
Yeah. And also people were also trying to say, Blue, that there was a whole pandemic and everything slowed down. And therefore gas prices went up because people had to pay more money. You know, by people, I mean providers, to catch up on things, to get all the supplies, all the food, because the whole world stopped for quite some time. Anywho.
They canceled 2 F1 races because they cannot guarantee that Iran is not gonna retaliate during the F1 races. Like, literally, the world is on fire right now. That is why your gas prices are higher, because your president fucking bombed a country, and now the country is acting out and everybody's shocked by it.
Well, Annette, EKM 7204 says, neither of you two are starving. Gas levies, no American says levies. Gas levies were higher under Biden. Did you have similar posts then?
Yeah.
Yeah, I complained about it,
we
but
would
I also knew.
criticize the shit out of Joe Biden.
Yeah.
That's the funniest part about this whole thing. They really don't think we go after Dems as hard as we go after Republicans. Listen, the difference between Trump and normal Republicans is Trump is a fascist.
Mm-hmm.
So, yes, I hold him accountable even more because he's crazy. But I'll go
Yep.
after a Democrat just like I go after a Republican, friends, because I am capable of critical thought.
What? Man, the literacy crisis is gonna fuck us.
Truly. I mean, this is why they want to privatize education, so that these bots can't get access to books.
We'll
You know
end with
what's crazy about this? They said when the internet would open up education and sources,
access to
access to information, and people were going to get smarter.
Boy, was
What
that
happened?
a stupid idea. That was a
What
terrible
happened,
hot take.
friend? Do y'all not watch the news? And I am not talking about Fox. Do y'all not read the news? Like, read an AP article. Read something that has no opinion. It's just facts.
Nope.
Then come back to me.
Nope. Don't know how to do that. We'll end with Dansa31, who says, just pay it. Life tips from Dansa31. Just pay it.
Has never had to put food on the table for their children and work 2 jobs and, make ends meet like a typical middle-class human being in the United States of America. Also pay for their health care, pay for various other things. Just pay it. Just pay it, Marina. What's wrong with you? What if you're a senior on fixed income? Just fucking pay it. Why are you whining?
Yeah, just pay it. Just pay it or walk everywhere.
Yeah.
I'd like to see all y'all walk in Vegas weather in the summer.
You know what's so fucking funny about the whole thing? Because I knew as soon as you told me today, you texted me today, we triggered some MAGA twats on the internet. MAGA twats, as I call them. That somebody was going to be like, you two are fat. And I'm like, that's the only thing you have to go to. Literally.
But you know who I'm not fatter than? Donald Trump.
Donald J. Trump. I ain't got cheeseburger blood. Anyway.
That's the fabulous world of the internet, Annette.
Listen, the fucking dregs of society.
Jesus.
It on a weekly basis. Other than the like Matthew Wilkie comments, right? Or one of our friends pops in, like Lauren Zeta or someone talking sense.
Yeah.
I literally, part of the show, just part of this for me, is just triggering the MAGA twats on the internet. I love it.
We love it. If you can please comment.
Please
keep this energy. Please. We actually love this shit. We love, it's like, we love playing, and we are not joking. Send us an email.
With a toy.
Yeah. Send us an email where you would like the studio link sent to you. Just let us know what week you can come on. Come on down, as Donald Trump would say during a State of the Union. You get to be on the show and debate live.
Can't wait. Well, thank you for making my night, everyone. Keep that energy, because we got lots to go tonight. So keep up that energy.
Boy.
Let's get into the depressing local lowdown, Maria. What's going on in Nevada this week? There's lots to talk about.
Well, Nevada, because, that's where we live, not California.
Just an example. Like
Fucking
the time
weirdos.
I mentioned Walmart. Just an example.
Oh, yeah. We're bigwigs for Walmart, aren't we? We should be able to afford the rising gas prices. I wish. So, first.
This 287G decision that's in the Nevada Independent.
Yeah. So, for people that don't know, especially our Russian friends out there that might be watching, are getting ready to comment about this, G, and that's G, not J, or any other letter. 287G was the code name of a program that basically ICE had with different law enforcement, especially here in Las Vegas. We had an agreement, and from unspoken to real agreement to back to being unspoken agreement, where our police force, Metro, would collaborate with ICE and send information or just send people over to ICE if they got, for example, pulled over for a parking ticket, which is horrifying. No matter what you've done, it's kind of, and I can just see the bots commenting, well, you shouldn't run over a stop sign, or you shouldn't get a parking ticket if you don't want to get deported. But y'all, it's two different law enforcement agencies. They shouldn't be secretly collaborating. But there was a lawsuit. The ACLU had a lawsuit around 287G, but it was specifically tied to a case. And the news is that the lawsuit did fail on technical grounds. So the plaintiff that was before them, his name, Moraes Echevarria, was deported. And so therefore, they couldn't follow with the suit. So the issue of 287G in, at least specifically when it comes to Metro Police, is still to be improved, to be determined, because there's not much you can do if the plaintiff has been deported.
Yeah.
So, how do you think this impacts the other work? Because ACLU, obviously, our friends over there, Atar and his entire team are doing incredible work, defending things with the DMV, defending immigrants against other, ICE raids, things like that, defending kids when they're in school. How do you think this could have impacts for other parts of our immigration issue?
Well,
Well,
I think that I think it's going to affect people because the fact that there is this question mark around 287G makes it incredibly hard for people who have different legal statuses. And by the way, a reminder that people who have papers, people who are going through the immigration process, people who have pending court dates for their processes have been caught up in all of these aspects of ICE. And so if like those regular people, right, that are law-abiding citizens, and God forbid they go 5 miles over the speed limit and they get clocked by Metro, and then all of a sudden they're getting handed over to ICE. It's, the ICE raids did a lot. And I think this kind of question mark of, can I just simply drive and be safe? Can I operate and be safe? Because even if I get a parking ticket, don't pay them on time, whatever it may be, have any interaction with law enforcement, if this is still not clearly stated, will not be allowed in our state or in Las Vegas anymore, then it's going to just increase the fear that people have, and it's going to increase the difficulty for organizations that advocate or want to help people continue coming out of the shadows, because that's been a big deal in immigrant communities, getting people to come out of the shadows. That work is going to be even more difficult. So it's going to make things harder. But like you said, our friends at the ACLU always keep the work going. And in the story, down below the story, folks will be able to see that the ACLU is planning to appeal, because it's kind of, I'm not a lawyer, clearly, but they're going to appeal because the issue still stands, right? At least to me, it's an issue that sure impacted this plaintiff, but it also affects so many other people and has affected so many other people, and it has to get resolved. Because I think what people aren't understanding, if you don't know this issue, is that even before it was acknowledged, they basically were doing this in secret police type stuff. And it was immigration advocacy groups that had to do a lot of research and a lot of digging on what is going on with Metro and this program around 2G. And after they weren't supposed to do it, it became under the table again. So it's just, we've been in this sort of seesaw with 287G, and hopefully our friends at the ACLU have the best of luck, because it has been a giant question mark for so many immigrants in our community.
Well, we'll keep watching it. Hopefully the ACLU does appeal. And follow along. The Nevada Independent is the one who produced that story. Really important, good reporting going on there. So we'll put the link to the article in the chat and go from there. So if you have questions on 287G, or if you've had experience with it, let us know in the chat. We want to hear from you, especially around immigration, since that's been such a hot topic this year. All right, on to lighter news, also from the Nevada Independent, reporting from Kate Reynolds and Michelle Rindell's over at the Indie about Nevada's brothels and sex work at those brothels making headlines, and how do legal brothels work in Nevada. I think this is really cool.
Yeah.
Oftentimes we all know that sex work is happening in the state of Nevada, right? But I think this is a really great explainer on how the sex work industry actually works in the state of Nevada. And hopefully we will be getting our first union soon to unionize those workers.
Woo! Yeah. And I think, we'll put this link also because, one, the idea around legal sex work or sex work in general, but especially legal sex work, can create a lot of doubt, a lot of suspicion, a lot of pause for people of, wait a second, it's bad, it's terrible. But this actually does a great breakdown of asking some of the areas of the work, like you mentioned, Annette. It has those questions, and it does everything from where and why is sex work legal in Nevada? What's the employment status? Because it is a labor issue, especially with what Annette said, the unionization efforts. And what I really like, and this is why we'll put it in below in the links in the chat, is that they actually asked and break down what is sex work like, and do legal sex workers enjoy the show, and do they support decriminalization? Because I think that is something that usually gets forgotten, is, do you like this? Because there might be people who did it and said didn't enjoy it, felt this and that and the other. There are also people that I know I've met, I know you've probably met, that are like it. I like it.
Admit, yeah.
Yeah. And so I think this is this is a very Nevada story. So if you've
Since
always
we live
wondered,
in Nevada,
California, it's very fascinating to actually see how it operates, and just shout out to the Nevada Independent and folks for pulling this together, because it's about time we actually hear about what all of this entails and what is it like for the people who work in it, and actually hear from them.
And just a reminder for those of you who don't live in Nevada, sex work is only legal in licensed brothels and is not legal statewide. State law explicitly bans sex work in counties with populations of at least 700,000. So it's a population cap. We call it a pop cap. So Clark County, where Las Vegas is, and an additional 6 counties have their own ordinances banning the practice. So Washoe, Carson City, Pershing, Douglas, Eureka, and Lincoln counties. So state law doesn't forbid it, but their individual counties have opted out. According to the Nevada Brothel Association, yes, there is an association for our brothels, a pro-brothel advocacy group founded by late brothel magnate Dennis Hoff. There are 16 legal brothels operating across 7 counties in Nevada, including Elko, Lander, Lyon, Mineral, Nye, Story, and White Pine counties. Another 3 counties, Churchill, Esmeralda, and Humboldt, allow sex work but lack an operating brothel. So check it out. This is how all the things work in a brothel and why they need a union, because I think for their workers. So
Yay!
Yeah, cool story. That's a fun one. Very Nevada, since that's where we live.
That's where we live. Yeah, not California.
All right, next up. Major Las Vegas casino operator might sell for $7 billion, billion with a B, report says. And this is in the Las Vegas Review Journal this week. Maria, who wants to sell their casino?
Yeah, the casino operator in question is Caesars Entertainment. Big
one
deal.
Of the big ones. And
one of the people in exclusive talks to purchase it is Tillman Fertitta. Right.
A little bit about the Fertittas, Maria.
Yeah, so they are known, especially here locally in Las Vegas, Nevada, where we live, for, now they own a lot of things, but they're especially known for having owned, I believe they still own the Station casinos, which are the locals casinos off the Strip, which is the Las Vegas street with all of the casinos. And the reason why they are notorious is because Station casinos were terrible. Are, I think, still? I'm not sure. I don't know where the...
They very much are. Very much are.
Still are horrible employers. like horrible. And many people throughout like decades have tried to unionize. They've squashed unionization efforts. Like they've literally locked people up in like the casino holding cells if they knew that they were trying to unionize. Yeah, just horrible. And I think what the reason why this is a big deal for us in Las Vegas, in the Nevada Oblast, friends, is because it would mean if it's them or some like other investor, is that it would mean who owns one of the biggest employers in the state, in Nevada.
Well, and for the first time ever, just recently, with the purchase of Venetian in the Palazzo, the Culinary Union was able to finally organize and unionize the Palazzo and Venetian, because for a long time they couldn't when Sheldon Adelson owned it. So the first time in history, the entire strip at this point is union owned and organized. And so this potentially, I mean, the contracts probably would go with the purchase, but this potentially could set the union back a great deal in terms of negotiating, since the Fertittas have historically been anti-union. Now, does that mean they'll continue to be anti-union? That remains to be seen. And Culinary 226 is the 800-pound gorilla when it comes to unionizing here in the state of Nevada. But it could be a slippery slope if this person is able to purchase Caesars Entertainment. So it's definitely something to watch, especially for the employees on the strip who have good union benefits.
Yeah.
Be real bad, because that is multiple properties.
Just let them pay it and let them own it. Just deal with it.
Just pay it. Just pay the gas price. What are you whining about? So yeah, so this will be a Las Vegas Review Journal link, and we'll put it in the chat. And this will be something we continue to keep an eye on as we move through. All right, finally, in the local lowdown, we had a whole bunch of candidates file for office this past week. All across the state of Nevada, the filing deadline was this past Friday.
You mean all the people that are responsible for gas prices?
Yeah. The judges, the other things, the random other things. So the Nevada Independent, again, has a really good 2026 candidate filing tracker. We'll put it in the chat. They also did live updates on who's running, the hundreds of people who are launching campaigns in Nevada, with the filing period ending on March 13th. So the filing period ran from March 2nd to March 13th. It ended on last Friday. And more than 950 non-judicial candidates announced run for offices in the 10-day filing period. Hundreds of candidates are running for everything from federal offices to statewide positions to local government offices. There are about 60 candidates running for Congress, about half of whom are running to succeed Representative Mark Amodei from Congressional District 2 in Northern Nevada, and about 50 candidates running for a statewide office. So that's like, governor, lieutenant governor, all of the constitutional offices. So since the filing period began March 2nd, the Nevada Independent has been tracking the highlights and surprising candidacies. Scroll down to see what stood out in a spreadsheet of everyone who filed. Again, this will be in the chat. We'll also put the actual candidate filings themselves in the chat. You can find that on the Nevada Secretary of State's website. So you can find their actual filings. You can't find out like contact information or addresses for safety reasons, because people be wild out there. But you can see the different people running in your district. And like I said, there's a source on the Nevada Independent, but there's also the source on the Secretary of State's website. On the Secretary of State's website, you can also find out, because there's filings that the candidates have to do every couple months, called C&E reports, which is contributions and expenditures report. And you can see who is donating to their campaign and how these candidates are spending their money. So if you want to know who's funding these people to run for office, that is a great piece of information to know on the back end. Or who's working for these candidates, as a great piece of information to know on the back end before you cast your vote. So we'll put all of that in the chat so you can be an educated voter. Some things that stood out, literally everybody and their mom thought Joey Gilbert. For those of you who are from Northern Nevada, you've probably seen Joey Gilbert in the airport going like this with his fists. He's a local notorious attorney who's done various work with like school boards and shit, ran for things, known as a troublemaker generally in the Republican Party. He's also a retired boxer. That's hence the fisting. So
He's no Harry Reid.
that's right. That's right. So anyway, so he flew back to Washington, D.C. last week. I alluded a little bit to this last week because I wanted to see what Joey Gilbert was going to do. Apparently, people like Elon Musk were courting Joey Gilbert. This is the word on the street. And they really wanted him to run against James Settlemyre for Congressional District 2. But old Joey decided not to run. He consulted with his daughter and with God and said, I'm good this cycle. So Joey Gilbert is not running, which thank God, because he's a hot mess. But yeah, the Lombardo machine was able to get him out of that race, from what I hear.
The Lombardo machine. The Lombardo. When he asked God, God was like, no.
The machine term I used loosely, obviously. One of my favorite stories from filing on Friday was that State Board of Education member Danielle Ford, former Clark County School District trustee, filed to run for governor as a nonpartisan candidate against whoever wins the Democratic primary and Joe Lombardo in the general. So she'll have to collect signatures to get on the ballot. There's all kinds of conspiracy theories out there that say, you know, she was paid to run because she has the same last name as Aaron Ford, whatever. None of that is true. She put out a whole video. She's like, no, I just wanted to run to make change. I think it's funny as hell that she's running. Because she signed up randomly to run for school board, one.
Yeah.
She signed up randomly to run for the State Board of Education, one. And now she's running for governor. So the quote from Danielle Ford in this Indie article is, it has essentially monopolized and consolidated power right at the governor's office, she said. I'm not running to be like, oh, I want all the power. Somebody needs to run who's going to not be persuaded by corporate interests and will be willing to unite some of these knots that have happened to Nevada and the systems in it. Okay. I mean, good for you, girl. You do you. Let's go. Because she is running as a nonpartisan, which doesn't happen very often in Nevada for governor, Nevada law requires that she receive 250 signatures to be able to be on the ballot in November. Hell, if I want to run for office, I'm going to do that. Then I don't have to campaign. I'll just know that I'm on the ballot.
Yeah, that's right.
Why not? That sounds like more fun.
Hell yeah, it does.
Former South Lake Tahoe councilman becomes 20th contender for congressional seat. That is for Congressional District 2, where it's like literally wild up there. I'm not reading this. Actually, this is good. This is going to make you react, though. Former lawmaker seeks to unseat regent who criticized transgender athletes. Great. Fantastic, because that guy's a whack job on the Board of Regents. Former State Senator Mo Dennis, longtime public education advocate, is looking to unseat the Nevada System of Higher Education regent who faced calls for his resignation after making derogatory remarks against transgender athletes. Mo's gonna save us, Maria.
For people that are wondering, why is she
laughing? This sounds like a great person to go up against this heinous individual who criticized transgender people.
Look, listen, it's a little bit of inside baseball, like you had to be there. All I'm saying is if you are an elected official.
What are you saying?
If you are an elected official and you have two citizens, one of them being yours truly, but anyone of any,
even if they work for an organization.
Yeah, and they're asking you because it's the end of legislative session and are asking you or telling you information on a piece of legislation that is being heard that day. You can say your point, but don't shake your finger at them like you're my mom. My mother is the only person that can do this to me.
You really triggered him that day.
It was not a big, and no.
I was saving that one for you because I knew it was going to get a reaction.
No. You're not my mother.
So a couple other highlights to get your reaction on. James Settlemyre came out of ranching. Is going to have to, it sounds like maybe get rid of his position as the director of the state's Department of Conservation and Natural Resources. But he is running for CD2 along with 5,000 other people. Teresa Benitez Thompson, former Assemblywoman extraordinaire, is also running for Congressional District 2 on the Dem side. So is, a bunch of other people. But that's kind of the highlight for the Dems in my world. And Danny Tarkanian, perennial candidate, Danny Tarkanian filed for Attorney General.
Danny Tarkanian is the human version of Fetch.
Well, and then you have Sharon Engel, who too is the human version of Fetch. But there's one more. Jim Marchant, perennial candidate, also filed for Secretary of State. All of these people, for those who don't know Nevada lore, are Republicans who consistently file every year for something because they have to have their name on the ballot somewhere, because somehow they think they're important enough to put their name on the ballot. They're not qualified to run for dog catcher, but they can run the state and various entities in it.
You know what, friends? Let's go to the Red Lobster in wherever you're running and have some of those biscuits.
Sharon Engel announced her candidacy at the Red Lobster.
By my house.
And here's what I would do, friends. If you're watching this and you're like, who the fuck are they talking about? Who are these people? Google them. Please, for the love of God, make sure you Google them before you go vote, especially in the primary, but also in the general election, because some of these people are going to slip through the primaries, and you need to know who you're voting for before you vote for them in January, in November, if we have an election, that is. So I highly encourage you, do your homework on these people before you vote for them, please, for the love of God.
And if you're interested in getting the 101 on who some of these fabulous people are, we're happy to include a rundown of who is Sharon Engel, because we would love to.
Dating back to 2010, friends. This is a tale as old as time.
We will get out our props and put on a show.
I got my pin back here from Sue Loudon. My goodness. So yeah, that's some of the fun highlights from candidate filing day.
Woo!
But the finale. So again, the indie tracker, the indie article will be in the chat. So will the Secretary of State website, along with the link to where they filed, but also you can find information about who is giving them money. So look them up.
Yeah. Yeah.
All right. Shall we move to the world?
Yeah, I bet it's doing just fine.
So zooming out on WTF is happening in the world this week. Maria, kick us off.
Yeah. There's this article that we will also put in the link in case folks are interested, that this is an interesting crossover of issues that I don't know if many people expected. Maybe some very nerdy in a good way,
like
people out there. Abortion bans obviously are reshaping reproductive health across the country, but they're also reshaping the rental market and how, which we know, by the way, housing is an issue not just in Nevada, but across the nation.
Well,
new research
are intersectional, meaning one impacts another and impacts another. It's all economic.
So it's essentially, the research is showing that while abortion bans are resulting in lower rental prices, there are higher vacancies in places where there are abortion bans.
People don't want to live there.
Yeah, so it's essentially telling us that the housing market is being, and specifically the rental market, is being affected by people piecing out because I don't want to live in a place where I don't have freedom over my own body or my partner's body. So fascinating, because I think this is, reproductive issues have always been siloed and people think it just is about, abortion is murder or not. Very black and white, but it's not. It actually affects, interesting how it affects your economic decision if you can have children when you want to or when you're forced to.
And again, this is not an opinion. This is based on a published research paper. The research was done and published Monday by the National Bureau of Economic Research, a nonprofit economic research organization that compared housing in states with abortion bans to states without those restrictions. They found between July 2022, the first month after the fall of Roe versus Wade, In June of 2025, housing markets with abortion bans experienced a 2.2% decline in rental prices compared to similarly trending markets in states without bans. Rental vacancies went up by an average of 1.1% in housing markets with abortion bans compared to similar markets without bans.
Mm-hmm.
It's very interesting.
Mm-hmm.
So, the paper's authors concluded that abortion bans, quote, had economically meaningful and statistically significant effects on rental markets.
Mm-hmm.
So, we'll link this article. You can also look up the research that they're talking about, read it for yourself. But as Maria said, reproductive rights, reproductive health care impacts more than just reproductive health care. It has all kinds of ripple effects and it impacts all aspects of your life.
And it's not just the single ladies that want to be terrible heathens out there. The example that that this article presents is a couple who, I believe they were in Idaho, and they talked about the issue once the ban was getting discussed in Idaho. They actually talked about it every day, like their futures. It became an actual marriage issue, and they felt that Idaho was no longer the place for them because it's almost like it's difficult economically to raise a child.
I can tell you right now, as a couple, as a person who is married to a man who deeply understands these issues, we have chatted about the fact we would not live in a state with an abortion ban. That's why we continue to live in Nevada, because it is constitutionally protected. So I get it. I wouldn't live there either.
What's the problem, everyone? Just have the baby and
Just
pay
pay
it.
it. Just
Just
pay
pay
it.
it. Just pay it.
Hey, just do the damn thing.
Just do the damn thing.
Okay, lots going on this week in Donald Trump's war, and it has now had additional impacts in places like Cuba. So let's talk about the Donald Trump war in Iran. The president, as I said earlier when we were talking to our friends, the bots on the internet, is desperately trying to reopen shipping lanes, and attacks are still happening. I'm literally watching an attack right now on CNN in Iraq, in Baghdad. There have been attacks going on in Baghdad near the U.S. Embassy compound, and their air defense systems are currently active there. As I said, 2 F1 races have been canceled. So one in Bahrain, the other one, I believe, in Saudi Arabia. It might be the same thing I'm talking about, but there's 2 of them in the Middle East that were canceled for the month of April because they don't see an end in sight in Donald Trump's war on Iran. And then obviously there's been conversation all week about Israel's involvement, what Israel wants from Iran. Is it different from what the U.S. wants? Is it the same? Is Bibi influencing, I should say Benjamin Netanyahu, who is the president of Israel? Is he influencing Donald Trump? So let's kind of take us through the week in Donald Trump's war in Iran.
Where do we start?
That has caused gas prices to rise in the United States of America. And has caused everybody on the West Coast to go on high alert because dummies in the White House released some sort of thing and talked to Newsom about the potential of attacks on the West Coast, to which then the White House responded, no, not really. We were just kidding. That's not a real thing that's happening.
You don't kid about that shit.
Also, Annette has series on this because I don't believe Iran actually was doing that. I actually think Trump's White House was planning something so that then they could blame it on Iran. But that's just my personal feelings.
I agree. I
feel like the guy with the tinfoil hat and the red string kind of like piecing things together at this point because I fundamentally distrust the White House and Donald Trump.
Yeah.
With my life.
And for people that are out there probably saying, no, that wouldn't happen. When people are desperate, as dear leader Trump is, you're willing to do anything.
Yeah, like when you're desperate to cover up the Epstein files, so you start a war with Iran and think it's going to be easy and you're going to get in and get out and you're just going to bomb them. And you're going to bomb the shit out of them because you got Pete Hegseth, who's drunk, launching bombs at another country. And you think that Iran, who has not been planning for this for years, they have been itching for the United States and Israel to do this shit for years. They have been prepping, stockpiling missiles, obviously planning drone strikes at neighboring countries. And the United States, once again, fundamentally underestimated Iran. And I don't know how, also underestimated Iran's willingness to open shipping lanes because that is the one pain point they have for the rest of the fucking world. How, Donald Trump and the White House and all of the Trump administration, did you underestimate Iran's willingness to just give up? That is not who these people are. They're
No.
not just going to give up.
No, they're not. No, they're not. They called your bluff, friend.
Literally.
They called your bluff.
And here we are 3 weeks later, still actively in war. And
Yeah.
they're bombing their neighbors now.
Yeah. And there's a few troubling things.
Just a few.
Just a few. So, a few weeks ago, while 99% of Europe was trying to figure out what to do, and my mother's land, Spain, was like, fuck no, we're not getting involved. This is the US only. Now, allies like Germany and other countries in Europe are saying, you know what? This is not our war, friend. It's just you, so we're not going to join your coalition of the unwilling to figure out the issue in the Strait of Hormuz. Because I think also Donald Trump is the dumbest president because, the Iranians didn't, technically all they've done is, and it's not really the Iranians, it is you, Trump, that has made it so that, because this is the big issue right now. Insurance companies have said the situation is so volatile in the area that we are not going to insure the boat to go from point A to point B across the strait because anything can happen to it. That's on you, Trump. You did that.
Literally, there was a boat, I believe it was an Asian carrier, and they tried to go through, and Iran literally droned the shit out of them.
Mm-hmm.
And this boat is just on fire with oil on it. Not good. Not good. And Iran's like, oh, well, let it burn. Did you not think they were not going to do these things?
Yeah. And while the Trump administration was doing a peace deal, basically redoing the nuclear deal that Obama and Biden did, why do you think they're going to trust you? Why do you think you're so angry?
This is my favorite quote this was what started my morning, and my favorite quote of the day. As President Trump continues to urge countries to assist with the escalating crisis in the Strait of Hormuz, he issued a stark warning to NATO allies, saying it will be very bad for the global alliance if they do not respond or do not comply with his demands. Do you know what I would do if I were one of our NATO allies? Do you know what I would say if I were China? Double fingers, bitch. Why would anyone want to work with Donald Trump at this point?
No one.
Even the Italian Trumper. She even was like, yeah, this Iran thing, gone too far. This is too much.
Mm-hmm.
Dumb.
Sucks to suck, Trump.
So, yeah, I doubt that our NATO allies in China are coming to our rescue this time. Trump's on his own on this one. And kind of as he should be.
Yeah.
So, you get what you pay for, or you get what you vote for, friends. You get what you vote for. You wanted it. You wanted Donald Trump, who said, no more forever wars. No more wars in the Middle East. Blah, blah, blah. And you believed that shit, which is crazy town. And now we're here. So, you got what you voted for, friends. You were so worried about prices last time, but look what happened.
You got punked.
Dummies. God, it just makes me so irritated.
Mm-hmm.
Just believe, when somebody tells you who they are, that quote.
Believe them.
Believe them, okay?
Uh-huh.
So let's talk about Cuba, because Cuba now is swept up in all of this. Today, dear leader Donald Trump has now said he can just go in and take Cuba if he wants to take Cuba, because he can do whatever he wants. Literally was his words, not mine. Today. So Cuba's electrical grid suffered a total collapse across the entire island today, Monday, March 16th. And this is on CNN right now. The country's power operator said, marking the latest nationwide blackout in recent years and the first since the U.S. effectively shut off the flow of oil to the island of roughly 10 million people. So we just turned off the nozzle. Efforts are underway to restore power across the country, the state-owned operator said, adding that no faults were detected in the electrical units operating at the time of the grid collapse. Nationwide power outages have been reported frequently over the past few years. Cuban officials have previously attributed them to the U.S. economic sanctions, though critics have also faulted a lack of investment in the island's ailing generation system. Cuba heavily relies on oil for electricity generation. Washington's effective blockade of fuel shipments has worsened the country's energy crisis, causing intermittent power cuts, a rationing of medical supplies, a decrease in tourism, officials have said. Fuel prices have skyrocketed so much that gas can be as much as $9 a liter on the unofficial market, meaning it costs more than $300 to fill up a car's gas tank, which is more than most Cubans earn in a year. So we're at it again in Latin America and the Caribbean because we think we're invincible and we think that rules don't apply to us. Maria?
I could spend a whole hour just
Stirring the pot as usual.
He's a
Doing
dictator.
nasty, disgusting shit as usual.
He's a fucking dictator. He's a fucking dictator. He just wants to take Cuba just to have it and say he got it and he conquered something that so many people have wanted because they just want to prove that communism is wrong and that they can beat it. And I'm no fan of either extreme, but the situation in Cuba, I mean, they're right. It has been worsened because of the United States.
And that has been systematically over the years. This is not a new thing. They're still being punished for the Bay of Pigs.
Yeah. God forbid it's its own country that wants to have its own form of governance.
And also, look, I don't love the fact that they were working with the Russians during the Bay of Pigs. Like, none of us do. Like, we're not saying that.
But
what I'm saying is negotiate them like they're with their equal. Treat them as if they're an equal.
What a lot of Americans hate about the fact that not only Cuba, but so much of Latin America was winking at Russia and communism is because guess what the alternative was? An invasion from the United States. And being forced to, I don't know, speak English, become a state. It's which devil, which lesser of two evils?
Tale as old as time.
Exactly. So let's not act like we're, to all of those people, American exceptionalists, let's not act like we're any better than anyone else. We just, manifest destiny wasn't just for the West. It was for the rest of the continent too. There's so much proof about that, and that's what this is. It's also why we have had so many undercover operations to just absolutely destroy legitimate governments. And let's not act like the Batista government before Fidel Castro was a good, common sense government that respected difference of opinion.
Most of the leaders that the United States has installed in these countries are no better. Sometimes they're worse.
Yeah.
Right. So we'll continue watching Cuba because I think there's going to be a hostile takeover there too, sadly. Because Donald Trump can't keep his hands to himself, both with children and with other countries.
Yep. Good job.
Okay. Moving on to the Hill. So we had a small victory today, an important victory today. So let's wrap up today's segment on good news for once in our lives. The federal court, and again, this is an article in the Hill, a federal court judge blocks this is Kennedy from HHS, Kennedy's vaccine changes and invalidates vaccine advisory panel. So this is big news. This is big news. All you MAGA lovers out there, this is big news in your anti-vaxxer crusades. So a federal judge on Monday, the day we're recording, blocked Health and Human Services HHS Secretary Robert F. Kennedy Jr.'s changes to vaccine policy, including the reduction of the recommended childhood immunizations and his remaking of a key vaccine advisory panel. Judge Murphy granted a motion by the American Academy of Pediatrics, scientists, doctors, real people who have medical degrees, for a preliminary injunction against the reduced childhood immunization schedule earlier this year, along with remaking of the Advisory Committee on Immunization Practices for the Centers of Disease Control and Prevention, invalidating all votes made by the committee since. Murphy found that the reconstruction of the ACIP last year failed to abide by the Federal Advisory Committee Act. So there's, rules for committees.
Mm.
He also found that the CDC bypassing the ACIP when changing the childhood immunization schedule was both a, quote, technical and procedural failure and an abandonment of the technical knowledge and expertise embodied by that committee. I'm into this. More
Yeah.
vaccines. We are pro-vaccine here. Pro-vaccine.
Mm-hmm.
Pro-childhood vaccines, because you know what vaccines prevent? Measles outbreaks, friends.
Yeah. The thing that can literally kill you by
Scrambly your
swelling your
brains.
brain. Yeah.
Look at these parents. And now, granted, neither one of us are parents. Thank God. But I sit here and think about it. Like, if you bring a kid into this world, and okay, if they have like medical exemptions, whatever, fine. I get not doing it then. But like, past that, I have always felt not giving your kid an immunization is literally like akin to like child neglect. If you're
Yeah.
sending them into a nasty ass classroom with other children and other things floating around that classroom, like, how do you not get your kid vaccinated so that they're like have the antibodies necessary, you know, the science necessary to protect themselves, to not get sick, to not have scrambly brains?
No, Annette, but the internet told me. A mom group said.
Here. Again, going back to the lack of, we thought the internet was going to change things. The internet's just made it worse.
No, it was so much better without the internet.
Being able to Google herbal remedies for your measles in your child was not a good thing. This was,
No.
we messed up. We fucked up. The internet was a mistake. More information was.
Yeah. Yeah. It was better when you like had to go to a library and ask a librarian where to find real information.
That had to be like cited and, have real facts in it. Anyways, I'll be interested to see. We'll put this article in the chat. Yeah, I'll be interested to see if this continues up the courts and ends up in the Supreme Court, because you could soon have a bunch of imbeciles on the Supreme Court. Literally, Ruth Bader Ginsburg is flipping in her grave right now. It was her birthday last week. You could have a bunch of imbeciles on the Supreme Court deciding whether or not children should get vaccines or not scientists. Because literally what the judge ruled today was that scientists should be the ones deciding that, and you should follow the rules for the committees, and like these schedules and everything should abide by the law. Crazy talk.
Just I want to do a similar just stab it. Just get the vaccine already, all you vax haters. Just stab yourselves. Get the vaccine.
Get the vaccine. I get every vaccine I can, literally. And you know I've never had, knock on wood, measles.
Black lungworm disease.
Polio. Typhoid. I even got the typhoid one before I went to Vietnam, right? Like, those are the things that modern medicine can prevent in you.
Yeah. You've never had to have an artificial lung breathing for you?
Nope, I'm good.
Good for you.
Other than the asthma and the occasional marijuana smoke, these lungs work just fine.
Look at that. It's almost like we've advanced in medicine that can help that.
Listen, Linda, I don't know. I don't make these fucking rules, Maria. All right, so we'll put that one in the chat because, yeah, we finally got a win, friends. It feels weird. It feels weird to get a win. I'm always like, when's the other shoe going to drop? Like, what's going to happen that's going to, fuck us?
Right.
So I'll put the CNN Cuba stuff in the chat, too, so this way we have it. Let me add it right now, so this way people can read actual sources about different things. All right. Maria, what's your hot take and headache this week? Got what, just one?
After reading those comments, I don't know. Actually, I do have a hot take.
Okay.
Taking a Saturday and not watching the news or anything. And just simply doing things one enjoys.
It's nice, isn't it? That's like
It's a
how it
nice
was when I
thing.
went to Disneyland.
Yeah, I highly encourage it. It's my hot take.
We have to talk about one other thing because I emotionally triggered you earlier. BTS has a documentary coming to Netflix next week.
Yes, because they're
Because
back.
they're relaunching. They're back from their military service and they're doing the damn thing. So they have this Netflix documentary, and then the tour comes to Las Vegas in what, May?
Yeah. Yes.
How are you feeling about that, knowing your love of BTS?
I am so happy.
Hopefully we make it to May.
You know what's crazy? I remember years ago because they all had to do their 3 years of military service. And I remember thinking, I wonder what life the world is going to be like. And life is going to be like in 3 years when they return.
I don't wonder that anymore. Happy anniversary, everyone. It was the COVID-versary on Friday. I only know that because my asshole of a sister, her birthday's on that Friday when the world shut down on March 13th. So yeah, don't dwell on the future because you have no idea.
Nope, no
So
idea.
it sounds like they had some trouble coming back in and like reestablishing themselves after their military service and like bringing the band back together.
Yeah, especially because they went in like waves. Because they can't control. It's like no matter how big a star you are, you just go in when you go in. So they went in waves to the military. One of them had to like wait because he was injured, and you can't because it's real military service that they
Yeah,
do.
it's not like our whatever, like they have to
No.
all do it.
Yeah, and so one of them had to like wait and things like that. And so as one would go in at this time, so he would come out earlier and he would do his own solo things. And so they would do like solo things. And a lot of people were wondering, have they grown out of it? And are they just going to be soloists? Because they kind of were like, they're all individually amazingly talented. So, that was part of it too. And also K-pop has just grown so much and there's so many other awesome bands. And the album, the record agency that they helped build, Big Hit, is now so big and has so many artists. It's like a whole new world they came into and had to figure themselves out. And I think that's what that documentary is going to try to touch on, is like the hard things that they had to do, not just while they were all out and coming back out into the non-military world, but what was it like trying to figure out, are we still willing to do this? Are we still able to do this? Because they're all also older. So
Seeing some shit
interesting.
now. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, congratulations on BTS. I know that is one of your many loves. I saw it today and I sent it immediately to Maria and I was like, oh my God, here it comes. I might even watch it just because I'm interested.
You should. Oh my God, we should. It's I love BTS.
I'm not really into K-pop. I've tried.
See, they're like the ones I constantly like.
I feel like the K-pop Demon Hunter girls. They're
Yes.
good.
They were amazing.
They're
and the
real
show at
good.
the Oscars was so good.
Yeah, they were real good.
And they won. And they won Best Song.
Okay, so my hot take, because I've been saving it, speaking of the Oscars. Okay, so what's that asshole's name? Timothy, whatever his name is.
Toyota Chevrolet.
The one dating Kylie Jenner. I only know her. I don't know this weirdo.
Timmy Chalamet.
Yeah, whatever his fucking name is. Anyways, he annoyed me this past week because he was talking shit about ballerinas and other artists.
Which his sisters are and his mom are.
Which makes it even, the story is even more ridiculous when you find that out, right? Aside from him, Misty Copeland.
Yeah.
Those who don't know Misty Copeland, she is one of my very favorite human beings on the earth. She is the first Black prima ballerina ever. She has broken so many barriers. She is fucking incredible. She is an incredible ballerina, and she just recently retired from like professional dancing because it's incredibly hard on your body. In December, had hip replacement surgery. Had a hip replacement.
Jesus.
The woman, out of spite, showed up last night to perform during the Sinners sequence and performed on stage live at the Oscars 3 months after a hip replacement, all to give the white man a finger. I was thrilled. If nothing else happened, Michael B. Jordan winning is excellent because I adore him for so many reasons. There were so many great moments, little Grogu, everything. But that, Misty Copeland coming on stage, performing at the Oscars, overcoming so much after a huge surgery, just being an incredible performer, an incredible athlete, an incredible talent, and getting up on stage and telling the white man to go fuck himself.
Epic.
Just beautiful.
Epic.
And her costume was out of this world. Just out of it. Spectacular. If y'all haven't seen it, just Google it. Misty Copeland.
So good.
That is my hot take for the week. More of that.
All
right. It's the final bell, Maria.
Oh,
We have
finally.
reached the end for the week.
Finally. We've reached
there was
the
a lot
end.
to cover this week. There was a lot going on in Nevada, a lot going on around the world.
Lots of opinions.
Tons of opinions. Keep the opinions coming, my friends, even if they're wrong.
Yeah. Come on. Come on down.
Bring them to us. Okay. So, yeah. Take us out.
Yeah. So until next time, everyone, make sure to not only comment, but share, like, rate, review, subscribe, wherever you're listening or watching us on. And until then, we'll see you in the next recess to go through more BS.
All right, everyone. Talk to you next week. Stay safe out there. Bye.
Bye-bye. And just pay it.
In Nevada.
Bye.